So when you eat, let's say, a donut, what happens is that donut is broken down from this food composite to these individual polysaccharides. So polysaccharides means multiple saccharides, saccharides being glucose chains. Then it's broken down into smaller and smaller fragments, ultimately into glucose that's absorbed into what's initially what they call the hepatic portal vein. So the first place it enters is the place that's immediately going to expose that food and nutrients to the liver. So the liver is the place that sees most nutrients initially. It's called first pass metabolism. It's a phenomenon in clinical medicine where drugs go through the liver first. Food goes to the liver first after it's digested and is absorbed. So after absorption, the liver is the first place that sees these nutrients. Now, what happens next is the elevation in, let's say, glucose, which is a common nutrient that's elevated if you ate a donut. And when glucose levels elevate, this other really important organ that's communicating with the liver all the time is called the pancreas. What it would do is it sends this elevation in glucose and just immediately spill out insulin in a dose-dependent manner to glucose. That insulin is going to go to the liver, bind to the liver, and about 50 to 66% of that insulin is going to immediately bind to the liver. Now, the rest is going to go to the periphery. So that means the liver is seeing the overwhelming amount of insulin. What does insulin do? It stores nutrients. It's a growth hormone. Growth is good when you're a kid, not so good when you're trying to regulate fat tissue, not just under your skin and how you look, but actually to regulate your metabolic health. Okay. And when you have fat accumulating in tissues, specifically tissues like the liver, this is when clear problems arise. So you can come from a completely normal functional liver to this progression and development and droplets of fat in the liver. And also then it becomes progressive. Obviously, what happens to the liver beyond that point is that the liver starts to turn those fat droplets and it starts to accumulate damage. Then you get stenosis, then you get NASH, et cetera, right? So eventually you can end with cirrhosis, which is full-fledged liver damage and obviously can be deadly. So that's really in a nutshell where you go from suboptimal metabolic health, which is near ubiquitous in the United States, to these common pathologies we see in the form of obesity and prediabetes,